Okay, so I want to show you guys the differences in the windshields. This is factory on the 2017. Now they've changed the windscreens on the 2018s. They look a little better. This is the one that it came with. This is the factory tall. Both are terrible. I haven't put the new one on yet, but you can see the Puig is even taller than the tall Triumph windscreen. So, and on top of that, our extender, and we should have some pretty excellent wind protection. So let's install this bad boy. So one more thing that I think is kind of a con about this whole Puig is that the instructions are really lackluster, and really the thing came self-assembled, but most of the instructions are what they assembled. I think that's a little strange. It's possible that this, I may have been given a repackaged windscreen, which might explain why I had to go get parts. But, c'est la vie, mistakes happen and all that. So it does give you this neat little sheet here that tells how they tested it at 93 miles an hour. Yep, and low and high positions and all that. So what I'm really concerned about is that pressure that it talks about there, the helmet average pressure, to get that vacuum force off of my ears. It looks pretty good. I just took it for a spin. There's only one problem. As usual with, you spend a lot of money, obviously you hope to get everything. Well, they didn't give me the bolts that go here, because what happens is there's a bigger gap behind this than the factory window. So what that means is I had to go down to Ace Hardware. Yay! Anyways, let's see if I can make these new parts work. I just don't have the patience to wait to complain and deal with them, and then maybe I'll get screws in about a week. So screw it. Literally. If you find yourself in this predicament, let me get a light. So here's what I did. Seems to be working. I went down to Ace. I picked up a longer screw, matching thread size, bolt with the small, the only one I could find had a smaller Allen key. And then I got 2 silicone 1/4-inch spacers. Okay, so that's going to sort of bridge that gap. It seems to be doing okay. If you don't use that, or if you don't use the one that's provided, these little arms will pop out. Okay, so we'll once I get the other side in, I'll adjust the windscreen and make sure she's working right. Okay, so we got both sides in. And if you see here, when you adjust the windscreen, you want it to slide on the arm without. You would notice it pulling out of each side. Those little plastic arms here, right here, or right there, if you can not see, these will pop out. But what we've done here is put these spacers in to prevent the arms from bending in, because so I'm guessing I just didn't get a longer screw and a sleeve. Easy fix. And for the final test. Alright, so I've been using the windscreen now for a couple of weeks. Not so much now that I've hurt myself. What I would say is that it's night and day difference. It's much better. I think I'm a little bit of an unfortunate case when it comes to a windscreen. I may just be a little taller than what they're designing them for in general. This second piece here does really a lot of good work. It's adjustable, so you can make it higher or lower or change the angle. But what I found is, and I've experimented with a lot of different setups here, a mix of the windscreen's angle combined with where this thing's at. There's so many variety of positions. So you don't want this windscreen all the way up to the top position. It seems to create a lot of buffeting at that position, and it seems like the protective bubble moves away from you. forward. So what you got to do is sort of balance so much wind hitting at a point on your helmet. This wouldn't be a problem if I was a shorter rider. Again, I'd also have the seat lower, which would be in the favor there. Right now my seat's in the high position and I've got a pad. But what I did find was that the windscreen being somewhere in the middle and having the deflector be at its neutral out position and basically straight, so no angle. So it's basically the same as the windscreen, and it seems to really do a lot more good just like that. If you move it up higher, it seems to push more downforce on the windscreen. The windscreen gives in and allows this fluctuation of the vacuum. So you want less of that, I would say. Other than that, it works great. I think for my future motorcycles, I'll definitely change the windscreens. I don't know if I'll stick with adventure bikes forever, but what I understand is that most adventure bikes have a lackluster windscreen. It's not just Tiger. The factory one and even the tall one is just unacceptable, especially for what it costs for the tall. So I give it a thumbs up, and whether you go with Puig or whether you go with the other brands that are out there, Puig was the better price point if you look at Revzilla, or wherever you're at. All right, guys. Hope that helped. I'll catch you next time.